Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Open Coin Door podcast. I'm Tim Owens, joined by Collins Wetzel. We made it back. We were supposed to do one last week.
What happened?
You know,
we were supposed to do all this talking about what we did the week before that, which was a lot of fun.
And we'll get to that. We'll talk about Pinburgh, which was a ton of fun and a really cool experience, which I can say now because I'm not in the middle of it and fighting my way out. But yeah, apologies for not getting an episode out last week. All the best intentions. We had one scheduled. We were going to do it Tuesday night. And then I headed off to urgent care to deal with this, which is me getting in a fight with a food mandolin, not the guitar.
Yeah,
so
I was getting ready to show up about 5 o'clock. I got maybe 3 o'clock, somewhere in there. Hey, I can't do the podcast tonight. Why not? I cut my thumb.
Here's the thing.
I had an accident.
Here's the thing. So I have been getting into pizza. And not just any pizza, but like I've gone a deep dive, and part of this is YouTube's fault. They know what I like, and they've been showing me this food truck vendor called the Pizza Peddler. Amazing YouTube channel. He's got tons of subscribers. Really cool guy. He's in the UK, and he has a pizza food truck. He runs 2 Gosney propane stone pizza ovens in his truck. And so I was watching the videos, and I was like, we got a pizza oven at one point. I forget why. Like, we bought one for the arcade. When I say we, I mean the arcade, because that's what this podcast is about.
Because I got one for Christmas, and I had you up, and we did pizzas.
Yeah.
And you were like, dude, I need to do this.
Yeah.
Let's do it at the arcade. So you got a really nice propane one.
Yeah, Uni was getting very popular anyway, and they're probably the most popular, I think, in the U.S. anyway. And so we were doing, I do remember this part, we were doing women flipping out pinball tournaments on Tuesdays back then.
Yep.
And we wouldn't open the arcade to the truck and food and all this stuff. We were still figuring things out. It was an off day. And we were like, what if we did pizza to try it out? Like, they could be our test. And so that's what we did.
Right.
We got the oven. We did pizza. It was not a great test. It was okay, but there were challenges. It was a different staff. 2, it was a different truck. It wasn't our trailer anymore. It was a food truck, and they were doing it on a table out back.
The biggest problem was the time and wait.
Yeah.
If you had multiple, I mean, I think when we do it at the house,
which is also a product of the dough, right? Like they weren't using fresh dough. It was out of a refrigerator. That takes longer to cook. They were pre-made dough pieces, and they were struggling sometimes with them. They were struggling keeping the oven hot because of the turnaround.
Right.
There were a whole lot of things going on that night. It was fine. It was very clear, like, this is never going to be like a regular thing for us. It was just sort of a one-off.
It didn't happen like it happened at the house. Everybody makes their pizza, and you put it in, and 90 seconds later you pull a pizza out, and then the next person puts theirs in, and 90 seconds later it wasn't happening like that.
And I think some of that was a lack of training and that kind of thing. Like,
and we weren't par baking. Like, you got to par bake the crust, and but the ones that
I'm not par baking.
You're not par baking yours that you're making dough.
So this is a total tangent, but I love it. This is my podcast, and y'all are just gonna have to deal with it. But it comes back to the friggin' thumb. Yeah, you're here for the ride. But yeah, I wanted to do a Neapolitan style pizza, which is very thin crust with a nice doughy outside layer, outer crust layer, and just really good, very airy. And it's fresh dough, fermented overnight. You make it the day before, and it sits out at room temperature for many, many hours.
So you proof it for a very long time.
You do, yeah.
Wow.
So you make it overnight, and you can keep it out on the tabletop overnight, but depending on the hours, like, it's basically an 18-hour dough, but if you need to do it like 24, like tonight I'll probably be making it late. But I still might, tonight I might just put it out on the tabletop. But if I was doing it earlier today, after the initial proof, I would throw it into the fridge and then pull it out in the morning, and it would sit out during the day.
You put it in the fridge and like cover it up?
Yeah.
And put it in its own thing? Yeah. With the other doughs that you made?
Yeah. And those pizzas, 90 seconds in the oven. They'll cook completely.
You don't have to par bake those.
Not at all.
Very fresh, easy to spread.
Easy. You move them out, drop it in there, 90 seconds, sometimes maybe even a minute you can get away with.
Yeah.
Like, they cook very quickly.
Do you have the, not the flour, but the
Semolina.
I always want to call it salmonella.
Yeah,
Semolina?
It is flour too.
Yeah,
it's a different type of flour. But
what's it called?
Semolina.
The semolina.
Yeah.
You have that to put for the.
I need to get it. I was just what I was planning on doing last Tuesday was just using all-purpose flour.
That's what I do.
For that, which would be fine too. But
make sure that's the biggest thing with those because you don't partake.
You don't want it sticking.
Yeah, and if it sticks, it's like impossible.
Right.
Then it rips and it's all done. So that was the biggest thing when we were doing fresh dough. The couple times that we actually used your oven for it.
Yeah.
The time that we used the fresh dough, and one of them ripped, and it's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
It's
so you
also
gotta make sure.
it's also I think a challenge for people who've never cooked pizzas before to like it's fun to make your own pizza, but then it's like if that's not thin enough, this isn't going to go well for you. And so like you want to give people their own freedom to make their own pizza pies, and then you're like, that's way too many toppings. It's never going to cook in time with the all that
that's
stuff.
how mine is all the time.
Yeah.
So
I believe that with you.
I mean, somebody in the house will have like I remember Kevin made one that was great one time, and I was like, I gotta cook this for like 4 minutes, Kevin.
Yeah.
Because there's so much
of all the
stuff on
toppings.
it.
Yeah.
And you got to get the stone really hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that, you know.
Yeah.
And other people are just like cheese. So that,
Yeah. Well,
good luck with it this time.
I will. So, like, essentially,
don't cut your
the
own
key
pepperonis.
that was the key to the dough, right? So, like, the dough is telling you, I wanted all authentic and fresh ingredients. So I got the fresh mozzarella, the big pieces that you rip off, and I was pulling apart, tearing the mozzarella. I got some kind of spicy pepper, and then for the pepperoni, I was like, I'm not going to buy a slice. I'm going to buy a pepperoni stick, and I'm going to cut it on the mandolin. And that's where life went wrong for me. And so Tim didn't get to make any pizza on Tuesday of last week because I had
we didn't get to do a podcast.
And we didn't get to do a podcast. So apologies again for missing that day. That was a long way around that, but it's my life right now. I'm not giving up. I told you the other day.
You're doing it again.
I bought more flour. I bought all the things because that was the real bummer. I was mad at myself for cutting myself because I know better. And I was also mad because that stopped in its tracks the entire night that I had been looking forward to of making these pizzas.
You couldn't use the dough. That was the part you told me you couldn't use the dough.
No, my wife was like, "Can I make them?" And God bless my wife. Like, I love her, but cooking is not her thing. And cooking fresh pizza from dough from scratch is a whole thing. And I was just like, you're not going to be able to do it. I'm sorry, you're not. Like, it's just not worth it to even
just put it in the oven and. You could have told her.
They were dough balls. Like
so
she would have had to roll, to like press it out and do all that. And I'm over here like bleeding nonstop. We were like, I think we need to go to urgent care. Like I stuck it out for maybe 2.5 hours and it was still bleeding. And I was like, I think we need a professional here. So got all stitched up and on the mend.
You do have a whole yard worth of yarn in your thumb.
I do, yeah.
There's a lot there.
I can't speak very highly of the local urgent care place, but they did a job stitching me up, but probably not the best job. But it is what it is. Like, it was what I needed at the moment, which was for it to stop bleeding.
You know what we have to do when you get those taken out? Edit a picture of it into the podcast so people can see it without the... Do a stitches and a no stitch.
Next week, I'll bring you a pizza. Because that was the other thing. I promised I was going to bring you a pizza.
You were going to bring one,
I was like, I'm going to do pizza night, and then we're going to come record a podcast. I'm like, I'll even bring you a pizza. And not only did I not bring a pizza, but we didn't record a podcast. So we're back this week.
This time when you do it, get it all figured out, and then I'll come over and we can do the pizzas all at the same time.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Especially because a lot of times when I make dough, it's for like, you know, I mean, it's just my wife and kid there. Like, even if we each take a 12-inch pie, that's a lot of pizza, and there's still like twice as much dough left over. And
how much?
I usually do 6. I did 6 dough balls, which is
don't say usually. It's the first time you've ever done it.
Come on now.
Okay,
this is my life. Whatever.
It's my life.
Look,
you've done pizza once.
You know what? Anybody listening to this podcast for a long time knows my policy of fake it till you make it, and I am a pizza master.
Now you're a pizza guy.
That's what I am.
You're the pizza guy. Pizza Tim.
Especially when you've got the scars to prove it. You got scars to prove it.
That's
and now I've got that too.
I remember I used those frozen ones and they weren't. I came and got them. By the time I got home, they weren't frozen anymore, and they had melted together.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get them apart. They were really good though. Par bake those puppies for a couple seconds and then get them out. Once we got it down, the thing, you have a propane one and I have the pellet one.
Yeah.
And the pellet one is so hard to keep.
Just to keep up with.
I mean, every time you have to put some in, and then it gets way too hot, and then it gets way too cool, and then you got to put more in. So
I believe mine,
in the future, I'll get
mine has the option for both. So I can do wood, not pellets, but wood blocks, or I can do propane. Propane's so much easier. It's not worth it.
My new grill has that option.
Yeah.
It has because it's the charcoal gravity one.
Right.
And I can do but I can't imagine how much
it's so much easier to control temperature when it's propane too. You got a dial on the back, up, down, easy.
Once I put the deck on the back of the house and I have my whole outdoor kitchen, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
But not till then.
But what we were going to talk about last week, and I think is still very much relevant, was our trip from the week before. You and I went to Bridgeville, Pennsylvania, to Pinburgh 2025.
Right outside Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Right outside.
I can't remember. We may have mentioned this, although the podcast is more recent, and this was a while back. We were a sponsor of Pinburgh, not only for a bank of games, which is one type of sponsorship, but also we gave away a satellite ticket at our Memorial Day tournament. But I think that predates the podcast by a few weeks, so we may not have ever mentioned that at all. I don't know if we didn't. On the podcast.
Who got the ticket?
That's a great question. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember.
Everybody got an entry, and then everybody in the finals got another one. So there were well over 100 and plus names in there, because we had 90 people at that tournament. But Pinburgh.
We had 90 people at that tournament?
We did. Yeah. It was our biggest tournament ever, the Memorial Day one.
Wow.
So
I had totally forgotten there were that.
Yeah. Because at first I had capped it at, what did I do, 84 or something?
Oh, that's right. You capped it at 80.
And then I increased it because we had more games.
Yeah.
And then, so it kind of ran away, always at the last minute. So
Pinburgh was good. It was it's 5-hour trip from here. So we had a long trip to do work and talk and
let's go back. So a lot of people who listen to this maybe don't even know what Pinburgh is, right? So Pinburgh, my experience with it, I got into pinball in 2019, probably around the same time that you did, I think.
Mine was COVID. It was
Yours was COVID, 2020.
But I had never heard of pinball.
Yeah, no.
I didn't even know what it was when you said it.
I got into pinball in 2019, and at the time I was going to Maltese, and Dale Geiger, who operates half the pins there, along with Mike, who does my pinball repair, good friends, both of them. Dale was like, "Oh man, you got to go to Pinburgh. You got to go to Pinburgh." And I'm like, "What's Pinburgh?" And he's like, "It's the biggest pinball tournament in the world."
He didn't lie.
And you didn't see anything about what it was pre-COVID, right? And so I was like, okay, I don't know anything about anything. I'm not a good pinball player. And he said, here's the thing. It's a 1,000-person tournament, and it sells out in minutes. We have to get on laptops and do that. So I got added to a Facebook group, and it was all hands on deck.
Right.
And so we tried to get tickets. And this was probably, I would guess, I forget when tickets went on sale, January of 2020. And I'm a geek, so of course I'm trying to buy a ticket. It sells out, but I'm looking at URLs and copying things on the website and refreshing, and I've got manual refreshers, and I'm going to specific pages. I got a ticket, and I managed to get tickets for 2 or 3 other people before, because what would happen is it would do the initial sellout, and you might know this from concert tickets too, right?
Yeah.
It would do the initial sellout. And then 15 minutes later, when things were sitting in people's cart and start becoming available again,
and they weren't buying them,
they would be thrown back into the mix.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. It sold out, but then more became available, and we were able to get some for some friends and things. So I had a ticket, 2 or 3 other people had tickets, and out of our group, several of us were going to Pinburgh.
This is new to me. I didn't know this part of the story.
You didn't? No.
I didn't know that.
I had a ticket to Pinburgh 2020. Pinburgh 2020 didn't happen. A lot of things, as you perhaps remember, didn't happen in 2020, and Pinburgh was one of them. Unfortunately, COVID hit, and the tournament was off. That was going to happen in July, and they just canceled the whole thing, rightfully so. But then, unfortunately, for me and for the entire community, the larger organization, whose name is PAPA, and PAPA stands for the... Do you know what PAPA stands for? Pop quiz.
Pittsburgh Association of Pinball.
Has nothing to do with Pittsburgh.
Of America. Pennsylvania Pinball Association of...
The Professional Association of Pinball Amateurs.
That's an oxymoron. The Professional Amateurs?
Well, you know.
That doesn't...
I believe that's what it stands for, but we'll have to check. But I'm pretty sure amateurs is in the title.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you shouldn't say you're a professional amateur. I guess I am.
You know, it's for everybody. Pinball's for everybody.
I've made money doing it, so I'm
PAPA is the large organization. Yeah. They were working with a nonprofit called Replay FX. And the Replay FX organization had a huge collection of pinball machines that would be put into this tournament, and PAPA would run the tournament and all these things. Well, the large organization decides not only are we closed for COVID, but we're going to shut down. We're going to sell off all of our games. We can't do this anymore. So it was a really unfortunate event where it was like, not only is Pinburgh not going to happen this year, it will never happen again.
There's no plan for it because the organization is defunct.
Right. And PAPA is still around, but Replay FX is no more. And that was really the distinction there. And the key part to those tournaments happening was the collection of games. You need a lot of games when you have 1,000 people, right?
I can't even imagine.
They had the games. They had a ton of the games. They didn't have to ask, so many people to bring all the games in and set them up. Like, they had all the games in a warehouse. They would bring them out. They would set them up. They would run them to their settings. They had techs on site at every corner that would come and fix the games. And these are all stories that I've heard. And I was like, man, I'm so bummed that I missed out on that. Well, fast forward to 2024, and Pinburgh is coming back, right? They announced that they got the rights to the name from Replay FX, or Replay organization. I don't know what the exact term is. Whatever it is, Replay gave them the rights to call a tournament Pinburgh, which was a big deal. PAPA was going to be involved again, but so were other sponsoring companies and stuff, but they started really small. So last year, they only had 140 people, and a lot of naysayers were like, that's nothing like Pinburgh, but they're trying to grow it back. So last year, it was about 140 people. This year, 246?
243, 245.
Somewhere around there, 245, whatever the case may be. A little over 240 people in the tournament. So it really shouldn't take them much longer if they can scale up at an appropriate size with the games and all that to keep going.
What I find ironic is they started with 140 or whatever last year. Yeah. And if they had said this year, we're going full strength, they would have sold out all the tickets.
Maybe.
I really believe. I mean, okay, hey, look, we're going to stop it at 500. But I understand why they're scaling. I think that's a super smart move. I think that's the only way to do it correctly.
Well, especially for space. The place we had, there was no way to have a larger tournament than what we had.
Before?
Before, it was at the convention center.
Like Heinz Field?
I believe
it would have to be at the football stadium.
I believe it was at a convention center in Pittsburgh itself.
So this year and last year, it was in a movie theater, Resinine. And
it's called Resinine Esports, but it's connected to a movie theater.
So the movie theater was downstairs, and there were some pins downstairs, but upstairs, you could tell that they had esports tables, carousels, set up with all
the LAN party out of the way and put their pins in place.
And they put them all in there, and it's funny listening to you explain what they were saying about old Pinburgh. Yeah. Because it was exactly like new Pinburgh.
It felt like that, right?
It was what you were explaining just now with the techs on every corner and the carts moving and the organization of everything and that was the huge amount of pinball machines. Yeah. Everything that you said is like, wow, like that was it.
Yeah. So like imagine being at a tournament and something breaks. And right off to your left there is a button that you can press and a light comes on and a tech comes over. You stand there at the light. The tech comes over. You lead them over to the game and they proceed to fix the game and you continue on. That's Pinburgh. Like that's the level that they take it to.
Yeah. If you've ever been in a pinball tournament and this happens here, I'm not talking down.
It is what it is.
Any tournament you go to a tournament, you're playing on a game and something happens. You got to pause the game. Somebody in your group has to go find the TD or whoever's acting as the TD and then bring them back over. And I can remember right before the tournament started, we were like, what are these buttons for? What's a stand?
Right.
Because it's like this little duct tape
It almost looked
stand.
like a miniature pinball machine.
It did. It was like
some of them anyway.
Or like an arcade something, and we're like, what? It was the tech light.
Yeah.
And Bowen would say in the beginning of the thing, da-da-da, and hey, if you have a problem, go hit the tech light. And this green light was hanging from the ceiling, and boop. Now, I was in a room that we didn't have a tech light.
Right.
And I had to call the tech twice.
Really?
Oh, no. We had to call the tech 3 times in there.
Yeah.
One of them was the old EM.
And they have lights in a few places, but
so like that was the other thing.
You have to go to a light.
There were so many this year.
You have to stay at the light and then lead them back to your games.
I don't know if they had all the rooms taken last year, but all the rooms, like the little office
probably
rooms
not if it was smaller.
Yeah. So they had them, and I was in a room. I got to play that bank twice, unfortunately, I guess. And both times the button on Foo Fighters got stuck, so we called the tech. And one time the EM didn't feel like it was doing scoring properly, but it was trying to catch up with the game. The reels are going ding 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 ding, and like the ball is in the middle, not hitting anything, and it's still going ding 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 because it was catching up.
As somebody with experience with fixing pins and all that, I was super impressed with the level of expertise of the techs there. Oh my gosh, way more than I have.
Yeah,
probably more than even Mike has, especially on the fly. Like that in a very intense environment. You've got a group of 4 people waiting to play like an EM or something, or they're in the middle of a game and you have to know what to do. Like, not only is it a TD call, but also as a technician, you're like, okay, take a photo of the game. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to start going into switch test mode and testing all of these things while the game's going on, knowing what happens if the game resets, what happens if this happens, what happens if that. And they've run through all those scenarios and they know exactly what to do in all those cases. I saw a tech work on an EM next to us where somebody wasn't sure about a light working for a 10 or 100, depending on if the light was lit. And it was a 1-player game, so the first player had already finished, but he wanted to know if his score would stand if there was an issue. And so so the tech working didn't have to worry about ending a game or anything, but he goes into test mode and he starts systematically checking every single switch in the game, particularly trying to make what happens when it moves from 10 to 100 happen, which requires not only an intimate knowledge of pinball, but an intimate knowledge of that specific game. Yeah. And he's doing it all with the playfield up, watching the score happen in real time, and he's like, it's scoring properly, even though the light is out, it is a play-on decision. And they put it back down, and they said, we'll fix it between games. And
I do think
wow,
that the techs were only on certain banks.
Yeah.
Because
I think they have I think they have more than one cart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have more than one cart and more than one tech,
But a couple of times when we were in the room on that one, we had the same tech come over and the same TD come over.
And I guess that would make sense. You want them to have some expertise around that. Yeah,
those 8.
Yeah.
Or those, hey, look, you've got 4 banks. You have 16 games. You need to know them inside and out.
Yeah, right? I don't know how many games they had, but it was probably close to 50, I would guess. 40 or 50 games there. Maybe more.
Pinburgh?
Yeah. How many would you guess? More?
Well, there were 25 banks of 4. That's
okay.
That's 100.
75. No, wait. 25
banks of 4.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Too much. You got to stay
that
off
Peach Invader's already affected me.
Okay.
All right.
And then
fair point then. So 100
they had
games.
the gauntlet.
Yeah, that's true.
And we have to talk about the side things. And then they had the whatever the other scoring one was.
I got thrown off because there were more groups that were playing together at any given time on a round, and so plus I thought maybe they had less games and more groups going. But
games that were just on free play, like the practice games in between, which ended up only being 2 games the whole time. But whatever.
Yeah.
And so I mean, there was 100 plus the games. Bash of the Burgh.
Right.
Plus the 20 games that were at the Bash of the Burgh, plus the Gauntlet games of 5. So there were 125 games.
Yeah.
So I mean.
Super cool collection, like games we've never played before.
Every bank had an EM. Every bank had early solid state. every bank had a 90s or a late solid state, and every game had a modern.
A DMD or a modern.
So the modern was
what they call
DMD
modern is
to
basically,
modern.
yeah.
So there were some where you didn't have
early to
an
mid
LCD.
90s up would be considered modern in that scenario.
So you couldn't go in and say, man, I know all the Stern games inside and out. I'm going to kill this tournament. You couldn't do that. You couldn't go in and say, I'm great at the old
I actually,
EMs.
like shockingly, I think I only played 2 Sterns out of 10 rounds. Believe it or not. Like, I played a Star Wars and I played Venom. I ended up playing Venom twice because I played that bank twice.
Yeah.
That's the only Sterns in the entire tournament that I played.
I played Foo Fighters three times.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
So,
I played,
different compared to like a tournament here where it's like, I mean, I do have other types of games here, but I have no EMs and I have a lot of Sterns. And so, you know.
And, I mean, you've got a Cactus Canyon, but it's a new one. You've got 90s, you've got Comet, and you've got Arena.
Right.
But and you have very limited space for what they're doing there, and to say you need to be completely well-rounded on everything.
No, I mean,
it's genius.
I feel good
great.
I feel good with this space having 5 DMD-based games, having 2 solid states, and having everything else be Stern. Sterns are more reliable. It is what it is.
Yeah. We might mix it up soon. Might do a new
We'll
be a new DMD
here.
come in, or a new. Maybe a couple of solids, but
especially almost always you can count on the Sterns to be available in other places. But yeah, there was just such a wide collection. I mean, there were games, especially on the EM side, that we've never played before, and even on the solid state side that I was just like, I know nothing about this game, and it's such weird. So the format of it was, we got there on Wednesday, and Wednesday was the only day you could practice.
Open practice.
You were not allowed to practice during the tournament at all.
At all. Zero. They treated it, what did he say? Boa said it's like soccer. You get a yellow card, and then you get kicked out.
Right.
So, don't do it.
No practice whatsoever other than on Wednesday. And so we went in Wednesday. Now, you left, so you didn't care much about practice because you're a better player than I. But... No, you'll find out why I'm saying that here in a minute.
Oh gosh!
But
we have to go all the way to the end.
We do.
I don't want to talk about.
We do. End. You can lay out on the therapist couch if you need to, but we need to talk about it all.
Fine. So Wednesday
we had practice.
So the cool thing about Wednesday is we're pinball nerds.
Yeah.
Right. And with the machine, you'll say it as soon as what machine did I want to play the most when I was there? Transformers,
yeah.
Right? 100%. I wanted to play Transformers. And you can say what it is about the game.
When we were at Allentown, you wanted to play Transformers.
I did.
All the time.
But it was a shitty version of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Look, none of them there are bad versions.
No.
And I mean, they are beautiful games.
Yeah.
So it's like pinball heaven, because they're all going to be good. And you can play all of these games.
Right.
But you don't have enough time to play all the games, so you pick and choose which ones you want to play.
And shout out to the Pittsburgh Pinball League and whoever else was involved with donating games, because that's where they are right now, is where they've got to have a lot of games donated to make Pinburgh happen, which is awesome.
It happened, and they were great.
Yeah.
I mean, the games were phenomenally well taken care of.
But to your point, there were so many games, you're not going to get to practice every single one. And on top of that, they were running a strikes tournament, and we weren't participating in it, but that did mean that games started to get tied up with that. And so, as that was going on, it was like, oh, we want to go play Transformers. And they were like, well, we're on this game. And we're like, oh, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, that did happen. We got ready to go push the start button. They're like, guys, we're on this game.
We were having to balance around some of that. You went out to dinner, and I went and grabbed dinner, and then came back and practiced some more and got whatever I could in. It was basically open from 1, 2
o'clock.
2 o'clock. We didn't even get there till 3, and we had to do a pinball sale.
Yeah, we
were selling a pin out in the parking lot, but
doing deals.
Yeah, doing some deals. But we got some practice in earlier in the day and then later in the day as well. But then that was it for practice. And then the format for the tournament is that Thursday and Friday you're doing qualifying rounds. You do 5 rounds of pinball on Thursday, 5 on Friday, which doesn't seem like a lot until I tell you what the round is.
So before you go into that, I will say, if you're going into one of these places and you want to practice, right, and being in the pinball world pretty heavily, I would say we are.
Yeah.
We've watched tournaments because we're nerds and we watch them on YouTube,
Twitch.
we watch them on Twitch, or we watch them on whatever, right? And I can remember watching maybe the first or second tournament I ever watched, and the good players who go up to the machine and they'll play for 5 or 10 seconds, and they won't really play. Right. They'll hit it with the flipper, and then they'll tilt. And I was like,
right.
What are they doing?
Like, that's practice?
Why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you tilt the game?
So then I get there.
Right.
We'll come to this later. And it's very important that you know where the tilt is.
How strong the tilt is, how tight it is. Yeah.
So one of the things that the better players do is they don't actually play the game. They find a couple things. They feel the flippers, and then they find the tilt.
If there's key shots on a game, that would be the time to find it.
You find it, and then you move on.
Because every flipper is different, right? And if you know on this game it's multi-ball all day, which is the left ramp, then you're going to try and find the left ramp real quick. And you're going to try and figure out how much you can shake the game before it tilts.
Or if you know it's a spinner and you need to light it and rip it. Then you find those shots, right? But you don't play a 3-ball game. Because there are so many games, you're going to go and say, I'm going to try this. Okay, I'm going to move to this one. I'm going to move down. Mm-hmm. I would recommend that type of practice over what we did. Right. And we just go and play a game because, oh man, that T2 looks cool. Let's go play that game.
Right.
Right. And you ended up getting on that bank.
Yeah. And it is useful to like learn some of the rules and stuff, but you can read about rules as well.
Yeah, but when you're in the game,
it's hard. There's 100 games, like you said. There's not enough time in the day to practice everything. Yeah. And then on Thursday morning, here you go. And so, like every round, when I say 5 rounds, you're with a group of 3 other people. It's 4-player games on 4 games. It's a bank of 4 pinball machines. Yep. And so
4-player games on a bank of 4.
Yeah.
That's what you play.
Right.
Yep.
So each day you're playing 20 games.
Yep, 20 games.
Across 2 days, you're playing 40. So it's a lot of pinball. And they're long days. You start at 10 a.m. and you go till probably around 10 p.m. Yeah. The last round, I think, was what, 8:15?
Well, and so the format is 2-hour time slots.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it a 2-hour round because
you might finish early.
You're going to finish in an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have an hour until the next round starts. You can go sit down. You know, I had to do work, so I was doing some work.
Or if you have you might have a long playing round. You might have a better player in there, or you might have a tech issue that kind of extends things.
Yep, so, we both had both of those things happen. And you're like, okay, well, my round took an hour and a half. I've only got half an hour. But they're 2-hour time slots, and then so it's like 10 o'clock, and then
like 12:15, and then
2:30. And then after the 2:30 one, we had a dinner break.
Yeah.
And the next one wasn't until 6:15 and then 8:30. But if you think about it, at 8:30 you're playing until 9:30 and you're not leaving until 9:30 or 10 o'clock.
Right.
And I got to be back there to do the same thing in the morning. So it is a very long day, even though it's kind of split up, you know, nicely. It's a long day.
It is.
It is a long time. And I like how you just broke it down to 20 games though.
And I found that it was very intense in intimidating, I guess is the best I can say, is like not knowing those games. You're walking up with 3 other people. They might know those games. And it really humbled me, to be honest. Like, you're walking up to games that like, all right, I played that one, but not those other 3. And it's like, it's go time. You just have to step up and start playing. And they might be better players than you.
Yeah.
Here's
the number one strategy.
They probably are better players than you because they're at Pinburgh. And it's like not a cheap ticket to go. And so like I found that side of it too, was that like, these are really decent players that are playing in this tournament. And, you know, so it was very humbling for me, particularly.
My first round, I played against the number 8 player in the world.
Yeah.
Number 8.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it, I'm like, So the way that they did the first round, it was literally 1 and 243, and then 2 people in the middle. And then the next was 2 and the next.
I thought they still tiered by your IPA rank.
That doesn't make any sense because, well, maybe they did because 8
up to an extent.
8 and whatever maybe. We came in at 150, or we were both in the 150s, I think.
Yeah.
To start. But it was interesting to watch those guys step up and play, like Neil Graff. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I watched Neil Graff we had...
And he's an incredible player.
I can't remember the name.
He didn't do so well at Pinburgh this year, but he is an incredible player. I mean, he's...
I can attest to that. I watched him.
Right.
Like, in my group.
Yeah.
And he's very, like... But that's the thing. Like, they know all the rules and they know all the things, and maybe they don't know all the rules. But you can't tell. Yeah. Because they can play so well. Right? So, it's humbling in the sense that, like, man, I don't know what I'm doing, and this dude is just going to kill it. Right. However, the number one strategy in any of those I like is keep the ball.
Keep the ball alive.
Just keep the ball alive.
Yeah.
Just keep, it doesn't matter what game you're on. It doesn't matter if you know the rules or not. Just keep the ball alive because you have a chance.
And I struggle with this because, like, I can often feel like, I need to know everything that I can about a game, and I'll go to Pin Tips and I'll go to Bob's Pinball Guide. And
I was on it like crazy, man. Every single game.
Look, my phone has like screenshots of all the play fields and all the pin tips and stuff in case our internet went out and all that. And I didn't end up using any of that stuff.
I wasn't that paranoid.
I was definitely like looking into it and trying to read up on rules and stuff. But there's only so much. Reading about pinball is kind of hard, right? It's like
because you can't see it.
Yeah, it's like reading a recipe. That doesn't mean the flow. It doesn't mean what you make is going to be good, and it also doesn't mean you're not going to cut your damn thumb. So, like, shit happens. Is what I'm saying.
Bob's place, though, I will say that really helped me because I would get in there to the bank maybe 5 or 10 minutes early, and I would look at each game and say, okay, this is what I have to do on this game.
Right.
Now it's in my head. Okay. Yeah. And I would go, like John Wick, I don't need to look up John Wick. I just don't need to look it up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to the next one. And it was like the Chief game, High Chief or Chief, whatever it was.
Right.
And I had to look like, okay, what am I supposed to do here? And you kind of get a thing, like all the EMs are keep it up top all day, UTAD. Up top all day.
Yep.
I had to Google that.
Yep.
And it's just get it up here. But there are certain things. Some of them were banks that you had to drop, not in order, but all in the same time before you go to another one.
Doing this strategy?
Light and rip it, baby.
Light the spinner and rip it.
If you have an old game and it has a spinner, figure out how to light it and then find the spinner shot. That's all you got to do.
All the people listening to the podcast don't understand, but I'm wearing a shirt that has a spinner on it. It says light it and rip it. So I'm just going to clarify. Light it and rip. Sorry. I can't look that far now.
But yeah, we decided we needed to make those shirts after we figured out all the old. That's all you do. Light it and rip it, baby.
It's true.
That's it.
It definitely on some old school games. That's definitely the way to go to get points. But yeah, so I found a hard balance with that, and going into the qualifying, every time I go to a tournament that I've never played a format quite like that before, I always feel like I learned something. When we went to Flippers last year. I felt like the qualifying, like what I would have done differently there, because that was like what they call a pump and dump, which is just best score format where you're just basically playing as much pinball as you can to get the best score you possibly can. And, I went into it going, I want to get scores on everything and see where I stand and then try to build from there. Whereas like leaving it, I was like, okay, in the future, I would stay queued up on a single game. I would get my head into that game. I would keep playing that game again and again until I'm happy with that score. And now I'll move on to another game.
Really?
Yes, that's what a lot of people were doing there. I thought we've talked about this, no?
Maybe.
You've never heard this?
Maybe.
Yeah, I saw some of the best players were not jumping around to games. They would re-queue on the exact same game and they go up and play it again. And then they re-queue on the same game and they play it again until they were happy with their score. And I was like, that's brilliant for this format.
You know what I did that on? Game of Thrones. And it kicked my ass every time. Yeah, but I was so freaking stubborn.
I guess at some point you've got to
I gave up.
Yeah, at some point you've got to give up.
It was the only one that kicked my ass.
But it definitely, because bouncing around, every game plays differently. And I can definitely understand this idea of like, just stay with that one game and see it through. Because you're going to have good games and bad games. But once you have that good game, you're like, that's a decent enough score for it to count in my card, and let's move on now.
That tournament, sorry to take it away from Pinburgh, but that tournament's like the first weekend in November, right?
It is, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's sometime in November. I didn't think it was first week, but I guess
maybe
it
it's
must be.
Second week. It's over Tucker's birthday this year.
Yeah.
It's on his birthday.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
I know.
Because my birthday is the last weekend in September. And then every weekend in October.
You know what? Your kid will have more birthdays. It'll be fine.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. Every weekend in October, I have a gig, or I have... Now, I just found out today I have to go to our headquarters in Raleigh for work for our yearly barbecue. And then the next weekend is Halloween. And then the next weekend is that.
Yeah.
I have 6 weekends. Look, sorry, honey.
Things get busy. I'm
busy. I want
Pinball's important, though.
I want it to not be. Anyway, so
Pinburgh, so going
Thursday.
So Pinburgh, what would I have done differently? Because
wait.
Spoiler alert. I did not do well.
Well, tell them how it goes, though, because Wednesday is different.
Okay.
Wednesday's practice. Thursday is qualifying.
Thursday's qualifying
into a division.
The scoring is 3-2-1-0.
Which makes sense. Remember,
first place gets 3 points. Second place gets 2. You're basically counting your wins and losses.
Yeah. So
basically, you're beating three other people if you came in first place in a 4-player game.
That's how I remembered it.
It's a little different with 3-player games. I guess it's 3-1.5-0 or something like that.
It was 1.5. Yes.
Whatever it is, they did it different on the scorecard to make it easier for people who have to do math by hand, which we did because we were writing all of our stuff down and somebody was entering it into a computer.
Yeah, they decided to put 3-1-0.
They didn't. No, they had us do 2-1-0, but they worked out the math on their end or something, so it didn't matter. At the end of the day, they don't use match play at all. You write on sheets and you turn it into someone, and he pops it all in there. But yeah, they're counting your number of wins. They actually had medals, and neither of us got one. But if you came in first place,
that's right,
on every single game,
the clean sweep medal. If
you got 12 points. Then you got a medal.
I got 10 a couple times.
I was so close. I got 10.5 on a 3-player group. One game I came in second place. I was so close to a clean sweep, which would have been cool. Like, that would have been something for me to take home.
Yeah.
But
that would be great.
Didn't happen for me. But yeah, so at the end of day one, and these points are cumulative, and it's determining where you stand overall. The number of wins that you have. And then at the end of day one, they place you into a division. They split it up, and it wasn't quite thirds, but it was pretty close. It was like there were 90 people in Division A, like 85 in Division B, and I want to say like 75 in Division C.
It was really close.
It was pretty close.
It was close, but it was basically thirds, A, B, C.
Right.
And you take your first day wins, and you add them up, and then you get placed into a division.
Right.
For the second day, and you only play within your division.
Correct. So you can only get as high as the top of your division at that point. So if you imagine the entire standings being split into thirds, and let's say, like, for you, in your case, you were Division B, you were right in the middle, but you could only get up to the top of Division B. You don't go into Division A.
I can't go into A, right.
You're locked out of Division A after day one. Because you're in here. I'm
not playing against those people either.
You're not playing against them
I'm not playing against Neil.
The lowest Division A can go is the bottom of Division A. They can't go into B.
And the same with B and C.
Right.
They're not.
So we went into day two.
And within the divisions, they were tiered.
Right. So, just to make sure you were playing roughly the same quality of folks in there. The tiers probably mattered a little bit less with a third of the people than it mattered for the entire, 250 people, but still. No,
but I will tell you, they did matter.
Yeah.
Because as my day went on in the B division, I played harder and harder and harder.
Because you were winning.
I was winning. But I mean, I'm playing in the first round of the B division, and I was at like 56 or whatever I was at in the B division, and I'm playing against people, and I'm not saying I'm better than them, but I was playing against people like, well, I'm gonna beat you, because I'm like, you can just kind of, you know what I mean, But then you start to play against people like, whoa.
Yeah,
you're really good. Wesley, that guy Wesley he had a clean sweep.
Yeah,
he went like 11, 12, 11, 10, 11. Like, he was killing it.
Yeah,
but I didn't play him until the third or fourth round in B because I had to work up to it. So I think the tiers mattered.
Sure. Yeah.
You know,
my role at Pinburgh was I was that person that you would look at and go, I'm going to beat you. Like, that's who I was at this tournament. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
You were the closest to a clean sweep out of either.
You know because it was a 3-player game, probably. No other reason than that. But no, I just didn't do well, and I can play good pinball. Like, there have been moments that I've played good pinball, so I don't take it against myself.
I think you're ranked higher than me on the IFPA.
Yeah, but that we know rankings don't quite. It's fake internet points to some extent. But I guess what I didn't realize is, looking back on it, what would I do differently? I mean, for one, every point matters. Like, you have to take the whole day and every game and every place within that game seriously.
That's why I like
every point matters. And
when
this was
you broke it down to 20 games.
That was something that Phil told us at the tournament. He was like, "Look, just fight for every point you can because it matters."
The very beginning.
And I was like, "Yeah, sure, but I'm going to be C Division anyway." Like, that was what I had in my head, was I'm going to be C Division anyway. The problem was, not only was I C Division, going into day 2, I was at the bottom of the C Division, which meant the gap was way higher for me to try and make it up to the top 20. The top 24 of each division got into the finals, and it was going to be near impossible for me without having like an amazing game.
We've talked about the analytics and how this guy dives into the numbers of absolutely everything that he does with the arcade and so it carries over into this tournament.
Yeah.
He was neck deep into, well, I got to do this, and if I get to here, I might be able to go here.
Which is not good.
But I need this many to do this, so I need to average this many in the next this many rounds and do this against this.
And you're just playing pinball. Like, you're just playing pinball like normal, and that's what I should have done. Is
that what you were going to say about what you would change? Because that's what you started saying. You were very, very into it. The information was very, very good. I could take it and digest it.
Definitely the amount of information. I definitely think I would just relax and play pinball a little bit more. Practice, obviously, but then like just play my best on everything and not worry too much and not give up so early is what I was going to say. Because I thought on day 1 you get into a division, but then on day 2 your score from day 1 didn't matter, and it does.
No, that's not the case.
That's the piece that I didn't know. Was going into day 2, I was at the bottom of the C division instead of everybody starting off on 0. Everybody started off with yesterday's score, and because mine was so low, it made it very difficult to overcome other people because all the points are cumulative. So it's like, in the same way that I can get a lot of points on a round, so can the people at the top. And so I'm still that far away from them.
That's where you started to obsess about it. Yeah. Like, how can I get here if they're already here and I'm not?
It was already a lost cause at that point. So I think going back to it, it was like, day 1 is really, like, it's not just about getting into a division. Like, where you sit in that division matters greatly in terms of how you can do. Now, probably just for C,
B was much more condensed from top to bottom.
I think it was 5 points difference between the person at the very bottom and the person at the very top. So, like, definitely.
I think it was a little bit more. It might have been
C
8,
was like 15 or 20 points. Like, it was a huge gap between the lowest and highest, and I was at the bottom. So, needless to say, all of that didn't make finals at all. But you did. You got into the B division. You were about midway, middle of the pack on B division on day 2, and then had some good rounds. And not only did you make it to the finals, which is the top 24 out of, like I said, probably 80 people.
83, I think, was in my division.
But you were like tied for 6th place, which gave you a first round bye, which is really important. Yeah. So
it was interesting to play the division. Yeah. And it was
you were so mad at first because you're like, oh, C would have been so much easier, right? Like, you didn't want to be in the B division.
I was like, man.
But then you played well, and I think that speaks to, like, you're supposed to be in B. Like, the way you play, you are a B division player, and so that's probably right. The way I was playing, my play definitely reflected a C division player, and that's what you want. You don't want someone sandbagging.
And I don't. Well, they have rules against that for like next year. I can't play in C.
Correct. Yeah.
I have to. No matter what, I'll be in the B, but I'll be at the bottom.
Yeah.
And a couple of those happened in the A. We tried to figure that out, but then you said that.
Right. Like, why did that person who didn't get enough points go in the A division?
Go in the A division
because they played last year and they were in A.
And you're not allowed to play lower than you did the year previous.
Right.
Or you're not allowed to play lower than you qualified the year previous.
Correct.
So next year they can play in the B division because they qualified for B, but they were in A last year. Does that make sense?
I think so.
You know what I mean? Like, they didn't qualify for A this year, but they have to play A.
They have to play it anyway.
They qualified for B, so next year they can play B.
They could, yeah.
Yeah. The B was, so I started at like 56 out of 83. I had a good first couple rounds. I worked all the way up to 2. I was number 2 for a couple rounds. And then I had a really bad round, and I only dropped to 10.
Well, as you go later on, it matters less and less, right? Like, so as that tournament moves on, things go from big moves to much smaller ones because everybody's got different sets of points, and it becomes, much more varied.
Yeah,
so
and I will say, my first couple rounds, I was playing, 2 people at the top of the bracket and 2 people at the bottom of the or the tier, and I guess I can say our skill level, we were very close. In how we play, right? And I got Gorgar. That was the Gorgar Genesis Rush.
Sure.
And whatever the high hand or
might
whatever.
Might be 2001.
Yes.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I think I got second on Gorgar. I think I got last on Rush or third. I sucked. And then the EM I did well, and then I blew up Genesis. I just blew it up.
Right.
I don't even know that game. That was just one of the ones like I found a shot and I hit that shot and I hit that shot and I hit that shot and then it stopped giving me all the points that I needed. So I was like, let's try this shot.
Right.
And I just got lucky and kept the ball, and then I found it. And then, so I hit it, and then I got a multi-ball. I didn't even know I had a multi-ball. And it played well. So the first round...
I think I had a good game on Genesis, too.
You did. I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Later on, you played that bank.
Right. I think I won on that.
Yeah, because Gorgar quit on you.
And Brush was evil to me, too. Yeah, Gorgar, we got moved to a different game because it...
So that moved me up.
On us. Yeah.
And then... So the disparity in the people, as I went through the rounds, the disparity in the people... My last round, the 5th round, the 8:30 round... I played Joe Landis from Northern Virginia.
Yep.
I think we were 10, 11, 12, and 13.
Yeah.
Those were our rankings.
Right.
So it wasn't like here and here and here and here. It was, we were at a spot where the 4 of you were playing.
Right.
And it was really to play in because if we got to move up. So I moved up to 6 and tied and got a bye.
Right. And a bye, for those that don't know, means that you don't have to play the first round of the finals. So first round bye, they took 24 people, like I said, from the B division to finals. And the way the format works, after the first round, it would go from 24 to 16. You get to sit that out. You don't have to even play it.
Right.
So, like, really, for you, the field is 15 people plus yourself, right? You don't have to worry about the first round. Let it happen. Let those people lose or do whatever, or win and move on. And now you're playing.
Yeah.
So,
and the banks changed for the finals.
Yeah.
They moved
some games around.
They moved some games so they weren't the same.
So you went into it. So this was, qualifying was Thursday and Friday, and then finals was Saturday. You got to sit out the first round. Your bank ended up, surprisingly, there were 3 different banks it could be. And the first round of
nobody chose my bank.
The first round, nobody chose that bank. And then the second round, your group does and another group does, which was weird. But the bank that you were on was Dungeons & Dragons, Freak Out.
A game called Freak Out.
Which is like a reskin of Doozy.
Yep, that's right.
Old school EM, 1-player game. And
Till it ends that game.
Till it ends that game. And then Matahari Pinbot, and then Matahari.
Yeah, that was it.
So that was the bank of 4 games.
And that was also the bank after the first round that every group picked.
Yeah, which was
nobody
odd.
played the other 2 banks the rest of the time.
I thought people were avoiding it because of D&D. And I guess that wasn't the case. I don't know why, like, some people, like, were avoiding in the first round.
Yeah, that's weird that we thought the same thing. Like, oh, well, they'll pick that. Pinball is very popular. Everybody knows the rules for Mata Hari, but nobody picked it. And we were like, oh, well, okay.
To me, I would think, like, you've got Freak Out, which is a game that's a reskin of another one, and nobody really knows it that well. It's a very odd game. Apparently, this is one of the pinball machines that was owned by Papa, and they kept it, or somebody kept it and donated it back to Papa when they were ready to take it again or something. So, like, this is a game that was around back in the early days of Pinburgh, too. But when I say, like I say Dungeons & Dragons, and you're like, oh, we got that at the brewery, that's okay. No, like, shield disabled.
Yeah.
No ball save.
No, zero ball save, shield disabled.
So these things
rubbers off the posts all the way up.
Right.
The multi-ball set on hard.
These modern games are not games that you're going to spend a lot of time on.
And they're super fast.
Yeah. I mean, you said you had a bad game on Rush. So did I. Like, Rush was very hard.
Yeah.
I think D&D was as well. However, you took second place on that one. So,
well, look, if you play D&D in a tournament, no matter what, it doesn't matter. You start multi-ball.
Dragon multi-ball.
You get, and here's what you need to do. Start a mode, and then start multi-ball. There isn't, like, that's the rule for that game.
Yeah.
And if you can't start the multi-ball, you're shit out of luck. Right? So I think one of the guys didn't start multi-ball at all.
Yeah.
I started it. Ironically, I didn't get the second part, the town celebration multi-ball.
Right.
The dragon beat me.
Yeah.
But,
so it kills your flippers.
But I was in a mode, and I crushed the mode with it.
So
I got second.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, cool. That's great. So... But it is. I mean, it's fast. Right. So then we moved on to Freak Out, and Freak Out is the dumbest game on the planet. Not because of what happened, just because it's the dumb. Like, I would have rather played almost any game there.
Sure.
It's not a fun. I enjoyed. I told you.
It's a well done reskin of a game that I wouldn't say was that much fun to begin with.
Was a fun game. It's not a fun game.
So I think that's the challenge there, right? Like, it's a beautiful reskin. Like, it's a beautiful looking game.
The art's great,
but.
The game sucks.
The game's not fun.
It's not a fun game.
Yeah.
It's very hard to understand what's going on and what the rules are and what you're actually scoring, like what's scoring. Even the rule card was there, and we all took time to read it, and we're like, so what?
Yeah.
I mean, I fell in love with some old games. I was like, man, these are really nice to play. They're fun to play. You get the old school, like, it's cool. This game was not fun. However, it wasn't hard.
Right.
Right? It's a 5-ball single player game.
But then
I had to go.
But then Collins had a freak out, didn't he?
So I did.
But
I didn't. He just had. I don't consider myself I don't play rough.
Tell me how you feel about the game.
This is it.
Please.
Here we go.
It's time for therapy in the podcast.
So I'm on my second ball. The first ball, I third player?
Point on the doll where the pinball machine touched you.
Point to me where the badminton.
That's right.
Yeah. No, I was third player because I got second. So I was third player. No, I was second player. I don't remember. Anyway, I was on my second ball. You came in
second, so you were probably
I was probably second.
The second player to play. Yeah.
So I'm on my second ball, and I'm on my way to scoring better than the person before me. I already have like 2,000. He only scored.
And as you said, this is a single-player game.
Single-player game.
It's a 5-ball game. So you're playing through all 5 balls, and then record the score. Next person steps up.
And there are quite a few games there that are, look, this is a single-player game. You play all 5 of your balls, and the next person plays, right?
Yep.
That plays into what happened later, but not really. So you play all of them, and a lot of the old games have a sign on them that says tilt ends game.
Right.
Right? Not ends ball, tilt ends game.
Yeah, these early games didn't even have dangers. Like, that wasn't a concept. It was basically like the tilt was the tilt. And on some games, tilt loses the ball, but on the old games, that stops the game entirely.
And there was a sign on it that said, there's a little black sign, tilt ends game. Like, okay. Like, I'm not paying attention to it. Right? But remember what I said earlier about practice? When you go in and you find your shots and you find where the tilts are. So I'm just playing, I'm playing regular. I didn't need to make a save. I didn't slap save or anything. I honestly don't know why or how.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to be like, I didn't touch it. You guys need to fix this. But I didn't. So anyway, the ball drains out the left lane.
Wouldn't have mattered.
No, it wouldn't have. It just drains out the left lane. And I don't think anything of it. But it didn't give me my ball back. I didn't get the ball back. Just looking around like, uh-oh, I broke it.
Right.
And the other guy, he's like, I think you tilted. And I looked up at the box, and it says tilt up in the right hand. I'm like...
And that was on ball 2, right?
Ball 2. It wasn't even like on ball 4. It was on ball 2.
Out of 5-ball
game.
Yeah.
Right? And I was already I was at halfway of so I would have gotten at least third.
Yeah.
So I would have taken a point. So I tilted through the game.
So you get to keep your score. However, with 2 balls, it wasn't a score that was going to do much.
And it didn't. I got a 0.
You got last place on that one.
So I was feeling bad about it.
Yeah.
But Pinbot was next. And I always feel bad about that game. I know.
Bad. I was at this point. I'm just a spectator that day, and I'm thinking, well, this was a good run, but I didn't feel very strongly on Pinbot for you. Like honestly, it's a tough game anyway, and I guess that was a game that was in a bank that I was playing on the first day, on Thursday, and I knew how hard it played. And I saw people who figured it out and played it really well, and I was just sort of like, man, this is going to be hard for him to come up. And you won.
So I had 2 really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad. And I was the 4th player because I lost, so I chose to go last. And the first player, I don't know, whatever. Second player blew it up. He had like 1.2 million.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
great.
Right.
And he could play, man. He was an old school player. Everybody knew him. Like, he was really good. So, third player, I think he had 1.2. I think third player had 800. Mm-hmm. And I'm coming in at like 230.
Right.
Like, I've got 230,000. I can't find any of the shots.
You're player 4 because you lost the previous game. And so, yeah. Right.
So, but I know I'm on ball 3. I'm like, okay, well, I know what I have to do. And Pinbot has the special skill shot and everything. And so I plunge. I don't get it. But the screen's already down. And I know if I can just hit these freaking lock shots, that I can get it, right? So right off the plunge, I hit one. I'm like, well, let's go. And I plunge again. I don't hit the skill shot, and I can't find this shot. I can't find the left one. And I'm playing. It seemed like I was playing for like 5 minutes. Like, I'm going to find this damn shot. I'm just going to find it. Because as soon as I find it, I'll get multi-ball. And I found it. And it gave me multi-ball. And in 10 seconds, I drained the ball.
Yeah.
I didn't get any points. And I'm like, all right.
You spent all that time working on multi-ball.
You got to start over, right? So before I don't know. Now, see, this is where I don't know the rules of Pinbot.
Yeah.
As soon as I drained, I hit it back up in the right lock.
Mm-hmm.
And it did it. It stayed. I was like, oh, all right. Then the magic happens. I plunge, and I get the skill shot. And I had like the Vortex multiplier or whatever. And it was like 400. It's like, what? Then I lock a ball. I was like, oh my God, let's do it again.
Yeah.
And I ended up, I don't know how I did it, but I plunged like 3 times and I got the Vortex every single time.
Yeah.
See, and then I got the multi-ball.
I couldn't see any of this as a spectator.
Oh yeah, you were over in the corner.
All I saw was him playing for a decent bit and me crossing my fingers and then the TD coming and tapping him to let him know that he didn't.
No, he didn't tap me. He didn't tap me. I'm playing and I haven't looked up. Yeah. I haven't looked up at all. Like, it's one of my things. Like, if I'm in, I'm not going to look up. Of course not, yeah. So I see, I'm playing, and this guy goes, "You're good." I'm like, what? Yeah. So I'm like, why did you just do that? And so I trapped up the ball, and I looked up, and I had like 1.8 or something, or 1.2.
You passed everybody else on ball 3.
And I turned around, and I looked at the feed, and I'm like, you mean I'm good? And he's like, yeah, you're good. You can drop it.
Yeah.
Like, great. So I had a really good ball 3. And I remember I came over because you were sitting there and I came over and I was like, yeah! Man.
I mean, it's exciting because you went from 2 points now to 5 points because you got 3 points for Pinbot. Right. So, you didn't take anything on Freakout and suddenly it went from 2 in 2 games to 5. And I would say 7 points is probably, would you say, a safe score to have to move on to the next round? Like cumulative?
I would. In the finals would be 7, 8.
7 or 8, somewhere thereabouts. Yeah.
So going into the last game, it was 6 was the leader.
Yeah.
He must have had 3 seconds.
Yeah, I think when we did the math...
No, I had a second.
I think when we did the math, we thought if you just came in second place on the last game, you would definitely win.
Yeah, it was 6,
more points
5,
and you would get 7. Yeah.
And then the last guy had like 2 or 1.
And it always depends on like who wins, what games, all that, like how that math works out. You can have somebody with runaway wins and somebody who's won none of them that isn't really even a contender at that point. Yeah. So it just really depends on how that is. And to go back really quickly, out of a group of 4, 2 are going to move on and 2 are going to drop out. So the top 2 move on to the next round.
Yeah, we didn't say that. Yeah, the finals, it's 2 and
you didn't have to have the best score of all 4 people. You only had to have the second best.
I just need to be in the top 2.
Top 2 versus the bottom 2.
So we were going 6-5-5. Anybody could have. I mean, if one of the 5s got 3, you get 8, which means the 6 isn't going to get 3. The best he could do would be 8-8.
Yeah.
Well, those 2 are going to move on, right? So it could have been 8-7. So 7 probably would have.
Right.
Maybe, but it could have been 8-8. But anyway, so I'm first player, and it's Matahari, and this is the kicker of the whole thing is I pushed the button and I said, "Hey guys, 4-player game." Like I turned around, and I do that.
And Matahari was one that I would say out of all of them in the bank, you had practiced on it, and you knew the rules. You had played it before, you understood it, and you were kind of as much dialed in as you could in that particular format. I would say for that game, like you knew the game. I was ready. You were ready on that game.
And that's what...
Like I wouldn't say that about Freak Out at all, but it was like when it came to Matahari, it was just like, you had played it in practice. They did allow you all to practice at the beginning for the first hour on Saturday. So,
and that was very much get on the game, see how it feels, go to another game. Get on the game, see how it feels.
And you already knew which banks you were going to be on, right? Like,
we knew these 3.
You knew the 3 that were going to be a part of B Division finals. Right. And so you practiced on that.
I did go to Matahari, and I knew the rules, and I had just won on Pinball, so I was kind of in the zone. I was just kind of like feeling it. And I step up, first ball, and it's just, hey guys, good luck. Step up, play, and it was just an average first ball.
Just okay.
And I wasn't mad. I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to do.
That drain happened.
It was a fair drain, and here's where everything is like,
take us back to that moment.
Between balls, you take a second, right? You you take a step, and you especially some of the people there. In between balls, they stand there for a minute. Yeah. Like a legit 60 seconds.
Thinking through what they did wrong, what they'll do differently, what strategies, like...
And I have done that, and I do, but I was not upset about anything. I knew exactly where to go. I knew at the time the orbit wasn't going all the way around, and I knew go to the gobble, knock the hole.
When I saw you playing, it looked like basically on your face was like, that's no big deal. That it drained. You're just like, no big deal, brush it off, keep going.
That's exactly...
And then you plunged.
And then I plunged. So I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I know exactly where I'm going to go. Right. And there was no, like, take a step back. And that's the thing that kills me is if I had...
Somebody might have come up
and been like... The next person would have been like...
Bro, it's my turn.
Hey, man.
Right? Whatever, yeah.
Or, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? So I plunge, and as soon as I plunge... It goes up and it goes through the gate, and as soon as it goes through the gate, somebody says, you're playing the second person's ball.
Yeah.
In any tournament, no matter where you're at, in any tournament, if you plunge another player's ball, you're automatically disqualified. So, in all my glory, I disqualified myself twice. And I easily...
A tilt's not a disqualification. Let's be clear. You only got disqualified once.
Well,
the tilt hurt your score.
I caused it twice.
Yeah. But
I could have easily taken points on both of those games and been in the next round.
Right.
Without a doubt, I could have, or just taken points on Matahari and been in the next round. Very easily.
Easily, perhaps. We'll never know. There were some good scores put up on Matahari. Maybe you would have gotten it with Freak Out as opposed to Matahari. I don't know. It's impossible to know, right?
But I ruined the rest of the everything.
It is just, it's a very intense place. It's a lot of pinball. It's long days. It's a lot of rules. It's a lot of everything. And I think that just speaks to it, that just like at the tail end of it, it's just sort of like you have these like weird ass brain farts, and all of a sudden it's just
funny?
I'd like you had told me, you're like, it wasn't that I was tired or anything, and you didn't look tired. It was, I think, if anything, just sort of you got in your head.
No, you know what it was?
Yeah.
I was comfortable.
Right.
It was the first time, the entire time, the whole round, what was that? My 11th round?
You're coming off the high of just a walk-off win, and you're just like, I'm about to make it on to the next round. Let's effing go.
It was the first time that I was comfortable. And whenever I coached, whenever I'm in my job, I mean, my new job, he's always like, be uncomfortable. And then you'll get comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And it was the first time that I got comfortable.
Right.
And then I don't got lackadaisical or whatever, but I got comfortable. I wasn't worried. I wasn't intense. I wasn't any of those things, which is weird because the whole time you kind of are.
Well, what's funny about that is like,
and I just wasn't.
One of my more recent tournament wins, and I don't have many of them. Let's be clear. Again, I'm not the greatest player or whatever, but I won one of the weekly tournaments at Maltese. Actually, this might go, I can't remember if this goes all the way back to the Dungeons & Dragons launch party. But whatever tournament this was, it was on a day that I was super tired. I had been up late the day before, and I was super tired. And I kept telling people, I just want to go home. It's a strikes tournament, and I'm like, I just want to get knocked out. But I can't not play my best because it's just not in my mind to do that, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm so tired. I just want to go home. This is not, my brain's not in it. And I played the best pinball of my life that day. I could not stop winning. Like, I kept beating people. I had long-ass games, walk-off wins. Like, I ran the board and won the entire tournament, being exhausted. Like, please beat me. I want to go. Like, I'm so tired. And they were like, well, it's clearly working for you. You're winning. And I was just like, I don't know what it is. And I think that's part of it, is like, you let it all go, right? Like, you stop the strategy, you stop the overthinking, you stop all that, and a new set of skills comes out as a result of that.
I do that when I play.
Yeah.
I know what to do.
It's really interesting to me, yeah.
There are times, I guess, when you go back and forth with it, right? And you're like tensed up. You're like, okay, I have to hit this shot. I have to hit this shot. I'm going to trap up. I'm going to take, that's my other word of advice, is always slow the game down.
Slow it down.
Don't ever, if you can trap on any tournament game, friggin'.
Yeah.
It's your ball. Play it as long as you want.
Sure.
So, I mean, but then you get a little nervous. Like on Venom when the thing didn't work.
Yeah.
So it skipped we had to call the TD down. Button. I had 3 times that the action button got stuck on me. 3. And each time...
Stop pressing that so hard.
It wasn't even me. So it skipped the ball on Venom, and then the guy playing with me noticed it, right? And he was like, oh, that's weird. And then it skipped the next one on Venom, on the multi-ball. And I was like, all right, stop, hang on.
Yeah,
and he said...
Venom's important because the action button is what cancels a multi-ball.
Right.
And so, like, you press it to cancel.
It kept canceling it.
It was canceling for you.
And I was on ball 3.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that. And you guys know, if you play Venom, you get the multi-ball, you win the game. So I was getting a little upset. So I held it up, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to hold it. And they went and got the pushed the button. TD came down. He said, look, I can't do anything for you, but I'll fix the button. And I was a little pissed, but that made me had to make the shot. Right. So I was like a little bit like, okay, I got to make the shot here. And then I made the shot, and then I got Carnage, and then I blew it up, and I won the game.
It's such a mind game because, like, I could see myself in that scenario being so upset that I deserved to get the multi-ball, and I didn't get it because of a hardware issue, and I don't agree with the ruling, even though I do. But, at the time, I can imagine myself thinking, I don't agree with this ruling, and I should have gotten that multi-ball, and it starts to run through your head, and then you play worse,
sure, yeah, right? Absolutely.
Like now I'm
you
not
let it
playing
bother
good,
you.
Now I'm not playing good pinball, and so, it's really a mind game to just reset and go, now I need to lock another ball. Like, that's all I need to do. And it's not that rulings are wrong or the hardware, whatever. It's just like, we're still playing pinball. It's still, that's the strategy you had before is still the strategy.
It's still the thing.
And it's like, it
was a little higher stakes on that one too, because it was ball 3 and I was not winning.
Sure.
And if I don't hit the shots and it drains, I lose.
Yeah.
What happened is I ended up getting the ball on like a 4-ball or a 5-ball. So it was worth more points. And then I started Carnage. Sure. And then it just blew the mess out of it.
Yeah.
And I won. I had somebody the next day, I told you this, one of the A players came up to me and said that they were down there on the bank with us, and they said, I would have asked for a second opinion because they didn't agree. Like you said, I don't agree with this ruling. And
yeah,
I mean, it was Lewis. Lewis came and played in our tournament here and repped Pinburgh, and he was great. He did a couple of rulings for us, and he was like, look, I can't do anything about your multi-ball. It was a thing, and sorry, here's the action button.
Yeah, because part of the challenge with rulings with pinball is like, it's impossible as a TD to set the game back to what you would have gotten on a particular thing. That doesn't exist.
Yeah,
right?
He couldn't give me my pinball or my multi-ball.
He can't give you your multi-ball.
Right.
Like, if we could, cool. Like, that would be interesting to be able to be like, all right, let's rewind the tape and you'll start at multi-ball, go.
Right.
Like, but that doesn't exist. And so I think that's the hardest part. A comp ball's not the same thing at all. Like in this instance.
Oh, especially in this one, because I would have had to work to get the multi-ball.
One, you didn't lose the ball. Like, you had the ball trapped up, so you haven't lost the ball. But also, like, it doesn't do anything for your multi-ball. And so it's like, what does the proper ruling look like in that instance?
And it was play on.
It's play on.
I did have an instance where the action button didn't work, and when I turned to get the TD, it dropped the ball and it drained, and they gave me a comp ball.
That's definitely a comp ball, yeah. And there might be scenarios where an issue is severe enough that they say this game can't stay in the tournament, right? But I don't think an action button is that instance.
No.
They can fix it.
It was just the guys in front of me sabotaging my games.
Yeah, that's right. Hitting it too hard and all that. So
yeah.
So with that said, you still got, I don't know what place you came in overall, but at least
ninth in the B division. I was tied for ninth in the B division,
which is amazing. Like, certainly, cool. Like,
after the first
performance, took $200 home. Represented.
Spent that on school supplies yesterday for my kids.
Represented well for Reclaim Arcade.
I tell you what, man.
Unlike myself,
Northern Virginia was represented well. I mean, it was cool because I got to play the bank that you sponsor too. So I took my picture with the thing.
But you're right. Landis was in there. Phil was in A division.
Phil, he was in A. Landis was. I played against Landis. And
Dave Hubbard was in A division, but of course he's such a great player anyway.
I forgot Dave was there.
Who else? Steve Capinas.
And he was. They were in the B final,
right?
Not the finals thing, but the final four.
You could have played him.
I should have.
But
I should have.
No, so many great players. Great tournament, great experience. It was a lot of fun.
Look, the amount I've said this to a lot of people. If you guys want to see a good tournament, come here and hang out and watch a tournament here and play in the tournament here, and it's a lot of fun. They're really well run, right? Like, and if you go to Maltese, it's the same thing. And if you go up to Ocelot, it's the same thing. Like, people run tournaments very, very well. And everybody kind of knows how to run a tournament. When you run a tournament of that magnitude with that level of player all the time, and every round ends on time, and every round is ready to start on time, and all the games work, and you move 245 people through an entire tournament and get it, like, it was incredible, the amount of everything that they did. The experience that they have, and all. Like, if you want to really see a well-oiled machine on that, like, it was very impressive, hands down. Like, just impressive. Like, it was just like, wow.
I'll definitely go next year. I mean, I'm sure we'll be a sponsor again next year. I told Jeff Teolis, who had reached out originally about me being a sponsor. I appreciated the opportunity, and I love that Pinburgh is coming back. It was hard, I'm not gonna lie, middle of the tournament, to still feel good about everything, but in hindsight, it was an amazing experience, and I would definitely do it again.
Yeah,
it made me a better pinball player. Like, believe it or not, like, I came away from that way more dialed in. I did really well at the Wednesday tournament. I did pretty decent at the DMV Cup. Not good enough, but decent enough, considering, keep in mind, Wednesday and Thursday, I'm freaking injured. But it changed my perspective in some ways on how you approach a game, how you play pinball, the skills and the nudging involved, because the caliber of player was so much better there.
You know what I noticed when I got back?
I think I'm better as a result.
I said this so many times during that tournament, so many times during Pinburgh. I noticed it immediately when I got back, that effing flipper rubbers.
Yeah.
When I got back, everything was in the wrong spot again, because every machine, and they did it on purpose, and I completely agree with it. But I hated every second of it. Every machine had the old rubbery, the pencil eraser rubbers.
Right,
I can't stand them.
Suzo Hap, I think, makes them, and they're like light pink. They look like pencil
eraser rubbers.
And
every game had them.
Very differently.
Super different. So when you come and you play on these and you've got super bands or you've got whatever.
It's funny you hate them, because I would argue they make the games easier. I think it's the one nice thing that they do. Because
it changes where you think the shots are.
It changes the shots a little bit, but it does make it easier to trap up with the ball because they're less bouncy, not more. And I think my silicone ones are more bouncy. I think
you don't have the low bounce?
No. So like the ball tends to want to bounce away, where I felt like you could easily dead catch it, live catch a ball, or like trap up. And
the control wasn't the issue for me.
The ball rolling away, it was more likely to stay on the flipper as opposed like on mine. The ball's a lot more active, I would say, on these games and on standard rubbers.
As soon as I came back to play in the tournament. Thursday, I was like, or Wednesday, I came to practice. I'm like, these are not where they were. Foo Fighters is completely different. I played it 3 times. It really made it. I didn't think it would, but I got to all these other places all these other games that I've played in different places. I'm like, this isn't where the shot is at.
Right.
Why is this? And then I realized every single one had those pencil eraser rubbers.
Across the board, every single pinball machine had those.
Yeah.
So
they all get new rubbers. That was the way to do it. I get it, but that was a learning experience. I would go. It's hard for me in my work schedule because that week of July is like go time for me.
Yeah,
so this year was exceptionally special because of the situation. Next year, I'm hoping that I'm like, hey man, I can't go because I have too much work. I'm hoping that I'm doing.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But I'll also go and be like, I'm taking 3 days off.
And I'm also hopeful that there's enough spots and more people from Fredericksburg are willing to participate.
Maybe they'll go to 500 next year. What do you think they'll do next year?
I don't know. I definitely think if they go bigger, they've got to have a larger spot. So that's going to be
it won't be there.
It can't be there, right?
Lewis said that. I was talking to Lewis about it. He's like, we already...
That's pretty much maxed out.
Maybe it wasn't Lewis, it was somebody else.
Yeah. They said I think at whatever, 240, 250 is their max at that location. So if they're going to grow it, and I think that they do want to continue year over year to grow it, they'll have to go somewhere else. And it's like, then the question is, are you big enough for the Expo Center? Old school Pinburgh at the Expo Center, or the Convention Center in Pittsburgh, was also a part of the Replay conference, which was there was a whole arcade component, there was a whole console gaming component, an esports component. There was so many other things that validated having that massive space. If Pinburgh is going to be on its own without all that other stuff and just the pinball tournament, then I don't know if
you know what?
I mean, they probably do warrant some kind of convention center space. Even if it's not the full.
You have a contact with Pinburgh now, right? Teolis, right?
I do. Yeah.
I mean, we have a convention center.
Yeah.
We're right off 95.
I think for the name it needs to be.
We're in a burg.
There you go.
We live in a burg.
Here's the thing, Jeff. Think less about Pittsburgh and more about Fredericksburg.
Yeah, take the H off the end. Teolis, are you listening here?
There you go.
We have a very nice size, and it's right near us.
I like that. I mean, he might be interviewing me for his Pinball Profile podcast here soon, so I'll bring it up to him and be like, hey, I've got an alternative burg that I just want you to start thinking through. He's not at all involved with those decisions, but
I think it's a great idea.
Maybe he's got a little leverage.
A lot of Northern Virginia representation in Pinburgh. It would be, hey, it's a good spot. I'm just saying.
It's not bad. But yeah, awesome opportunity.
Or we could have our own.
We could. And maybe that will happen.
We've talked about that before.
We'll see. You never know what will happen here.
We have other players in that game.
But anyway, what else do we have to talk? I mean, we're already an hour 24.
Yeah, but we didn't give them one last week. I don't know.
We didn't. So you're kind of getting double this week.
You got a dishwasher.
We got like a dishwasher.
You got like a dishwasher.
Like we didn't hire a person, but we literally put a dishwasher in there, which is exciting.
That's going well.
Yeah.
Why did you get it? Why did you buy a dishwasher?
Well,
you already had people washing dishes.
So the move to having, it's not glassware, but it might as well be, right? Like the bar where the glasses, which are
more dishes. It's
plastic,
dishes.
it's more dishes. And so that, and particularly, this style, glassware, you can't wash this with the same dishes that are held the beer cheese and stuff and all that. Like the stuff coming out of the kitchen can't be washed with this. The water's going to be too gross. It's going to leave spots. It's going to be an issue. And so typically they were trying to time with a 3-compartment sink. Sorry.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You don't want your soapy water that also has grease in it.
Are you listening, people?
To also wash glassware.
Really?
No.
Should I do that at home?
I mean, in home, maybe it doesn't matter because you probably don't care about some spots here or there.
I was kidding. I have a dishwasher.
I mean, it's fine.
Anyway, I didn't know that, though. Yeah. For real, I didn't. So you don't mix them. So that's one reason.
So there was a lot of timing things of like the bar needs more glassware cleaned or whatever, but the kitchen is on the sink right now. And that's a lot of labor. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of everything. And so we are renting.
That's why.
Yeah. So
you're saving on labor.
You're saving on labor.
These guys out of here early.
It's not cheap. I mean, we're renting this dishwasher from a company called Autochlor. Very well-known company that does this. They provide all the chemicals, all the maintenance and service on it. But it's like $300 a month. It's not nothing, but the time it's going to save us, getting people out earlier, getting things more efficient in the space is well worth the money.
Will it save you? You always say you're solving a problem with problem solving. Will it save you on the overhead month over month? Will you save more than $300 a month in labor?
I think I'll at least break even with labor.
And then,
that's my goal.
If you're breaking even with it, then you've also got the efficiency of it.
Yeah.
The niceness
so it's
of
a
it.
Win. Yeah, so that's
you don't
the
have to fight over the sink, which I just learned,
It takes...
there's a lot of benefits.
A cycle on this dishwasher, to be clear, since it's a kitchen dishwasher, it takes 90 seconds to do a load.
What?
So, yes. 90 seconds. So when
Can I get one for my house?
Right?
90 seconds?
90 seconds.
Mine takes 90 minutes.
They load it up with all the glasses, all the things, everything, put it in there and shut the door, and 90 seconds later it's done and you pull it out and you have clean stuff. So like when I say efficient, I mean they're getting out way earlier now because they're able to 90 seconds.
I was thinking it was going to be like 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
That's why there were so many cycles. I mean, you could only fit so much in there. It's not like a home dishwasher in that you have multiple levels. It's just this single rack.
It is. It's like a one rack.
Yeah, it's a one rack, so you're having to do multiples to get through stuff, but it's quite quick. Yeah. So that's been really nice. That's been a new thing there. I haven't been around much because of my thumb and Pinburgh and all the things, but
you took another trip.
I went down to North Carolina. I need my wife and kid to go back to school so that I can get back to real work.
We love you, Emily. We do.
I need to get back to work. But you were here for karaoke.
Karaoke was great.
It's always good. It's always good, right?
We had a little... I should probably go pick up my kid soon. Oh, there's my wife. We had a little run of kids.
You told me there was an issue because all of our Friday night events we say are 18 plus. And you were messaging me going, man, these kids won't leave. And we've had a lot of kids songs.
There were a lot.
And I was like, we've struggled with this because there were times where we restricted it at the door. Like we would literally be like, you're under 18, you're not allowed. We started at one point at 21. Really? Yeah. And then we were like, you know what? I kind of decided from a policy standpoint, if you can go to war, if you can buy cigarettes, I don't care about the alcohol number. Like you're literally considered an adult in every aspect of the law. You're an adult here. So 18 plus seemed fair to me. So we moved to 18. However, we had some instances where like a dad and his daughter would show up and they've traveled an hour to come here and didn't know that it was going to be 18 plus on a Friday night. And they're like, they got turned away because we were so hardcore about it.
It's tough.
It's tough. And so we decided at that point, we're like, maybe we make it basically a recommendation. Like we say in all of our advertising, it's going to be 18 plus, but if someone comes in with a kid, we just let them know, hey, karaoke is going to be going on. There's going to be some adult language and stuff like that. If you're okay with that, it's on you, but just so you know, this is happening.
So the kids were doing the adult language. Like,
yeah,
a couple of songs. Oh, okay. Like, you just sang the words to all the stuff, and I'm not talking they were like high school kids. I mean, they were like middle school, or less.
See, and I think that's where we have to draw a line, because I think it's one thing.
Well, I didn't call them out, but I asked if their parents knew the words to the songs.
Yeah,
I said, "Do your parents know the words of that song?" On the mic, and the next song they left.
Yeah, because to me, it's one thing. There's a vast difference between I came with my kid to play in the arcade, but you have something going on that prevents us from walking through the doors. I don't want that to happen. I want people to feel free. Now, we can argue all day long about whether you should be bringing a 10-year-old in on a Friday night.
We don't need to pass the judgment there.
It is what it is. But but that's for them to decide, not for me.
Right.
However, I think when it comes to our music nights, our live music, our karaoke, these Friday night events, and sometimes now Saturdays, I'm more okay with drawing a hard line that the participants in that are adults. Because if you're an adult and you go out on a Friday night to have some drinks and have fun, you don't want to be here.
I don't want to be.
You're not here for karaoke that's like Frozen or something, or even like a middle schooler singing some rap song. You're
Taylor
just like,
Swift or
what are we doing right now? Like that. That to me is the line that I draw, to where it's like, you don't get to participate in this. This is an adult event.
So
I
actually we talked
our
about
birthday
that.
bash that we're doing. I called it out specifically. This is an 18 plus adult event. I don't want
we're not celebrating the 10-year-old
little
birthdays.
Jimmy's 8-year-old birthday party is not what this is about.
Rent the room. You can rent the room on Sunday afternoon.
Right.
So there was I would say there were half a dozen kids.
Yeah.
And I mean under high school age.
Right.
So 7th, 6th, 5th.
And breweries deal with this a lot too, I think, where the parents want to come, but then let the kids do their own thing.
And I'll tell you a perfect example. Yeah. Very first, we get everything, and this guy has 3 of his kids here. And he comes up to me and he says, "Listen, man, I got to take these kids home. My 6-year-old's going to like crash out. Can I go early?" And I said, "You absolutely can, so that you can take your kids home.
So get your kids out of here."
So he was second. And he said, "Thank you so much, man. Thanks for letting me get up there. I got to take the kids home. I'm out." I said, "Dude, come back. Like, take kids home. Somebody's there to watch them. Come back." He didn't come back, but I invited him back as an adult. The problem is, we've talked about this, our queue fills up so fast.
Right.
We tried to manage it this time. I actually didn't talk to you about how we managed it. And it worked.
You had thrown out the idea of like tiers of time.
That's what we did.
Is that what you did?
But I did it too late, so I'm learning. We're still learning.
Right.
I can't afford to have 6 children take 6 slots, and one of them sang twice, away from the adults that are here waiting and buying drinks and buying food.
See, as the DJ at that point, you're just stop handing the mic to them.
The problem is they signed up as a different with somebody else.
At the point that somebody comes up to grab a microphone, if you're 10 years old, I'm not handing it to you and we're moving on to the next person. You got to just be more hardcore about that. Like,
I'm not the owner, but now I have the owner's permission, and that's
you
what I'm
absolutely have the owner's permission. Okay. As the karaoke DJ, you have to curate that experience for everybody in the room.
Yes.
And I would say, like, little kid comes up, it's just like, get out of here, man. This is 18 plus event. Go play the games.
Okay.
Next up.
So